I didn't have lockdown. So I was and I am a high school teacher, which means we were out for 2 months and then we were back face to face. So I never did Zoom, and I use Google Meet every week, multiple times in class. And I love how you can see what you see on the screen, and Zoom doesn't let me do that. So I apologize and just stop me. I did a presentation the other day on Zoom for I was like 5 minutes in and somebody was like, I really can't see your slides. I said, I'm so sorry. Please tell me sooner. So I'm going to do it this way because survey said this was wide-ish.
Looks
I
great.
Looks
I
good.
apologize
Looks
in
great.
advance.
No apologies necessary. It's
All
big.
right, and you should see you can see my taskbar on my bar on the
Yes.
top right. Good, because I want to show you more things than just slides. So I have to do it this way. So here we go. All right, so please stop me at any point. We're a nice little group here today, and ask me any questions, especially if I get a little too geeky, because I tend to I do all these things every day, all the time. And so I'm like, what do you mean not everybody does this really nerdy thing that I do all the time? So please just tell me and stop me at any point. So these are googly tricks. They're not all Google, but they're things that I do using Chrome browser. So at the current time, that's still Google. I hear that they're going to separate that out, because of monopoly law. But we'll see. We'll see if that ends up happening. My name is Dr. Erin Noxon. I am a high school teacher. I teach at Sagano High School here in Kyoto. I have 3 children behind me making lots of noise. So if at any point you cannot hear me or I stop and go, that's why. I teach 1,000 kids over the course of a week in a variety of different classes. My school is a super science high school, which means that MEX gives us money to develop stuff. So some of this stuff is useful for those classes and those kids. But otherwise, it's just fun stuff that I think you guys will enjoy learning. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is Google Keep. Does anybody know Google Keep? If you do not know Google Keep and you're interested in having a note-taking app that you can use on absolutely 100% every single platform, Google Keep is what you want. I know a lot of people are in love with their Apple devices, and you have the Notes app, which you can sync with your one account. However, you can't sync it on Android. You can't sync it on Chromebooks and a variety of other things unless you log all the way in via a browser. But Google Keep has apps for everything, and it's also available at keep.google.com. And it's basically just your Google Notes app. It has this logo on the left. It's a little light bulb. You can make little notes. You can color code them. You can put pictures in it. So this is my Keep for alcohol that ain't bad. And then my husband can pick up a bottle of that if he finds it at a place. You can put all your recipes. You can put your shopping list. You can put your notes for your students and share them with your students. But it is the Google Notes app, and it is, like I said, it is a place to take notes wherever you are on anything. Some of the things I find limiting about certain apps and software is when you can only have it on one device or when it only works on certain platforms, like Line. I despise Line because you can only have it on one device. And I have so many different devices, and my school has a device that locks me from other things. And so things like Google Keep and Google software, one of the reasons I use it is because it's everywhere. It's just ubiquitous across platforms. All right. The next one I want to talk about is key commands. If you do use a keyboard, if you're only using tablet type displays, this isn't for you. But if you touch a keyboard at any point and you're not using key commands, I really encourage you to do so. Some of you probably know your Control C's and your Control V's because sometimes you get forced into doing these things. But there's a whole bunch of other fun ones. This is just a smattering. Control F will help you every day to find things within a document. Just Control F, you can find whatever you're looking for. You ever notice when your students copy paste out of Google Translate and it has that gray highlight behind all of the words? That's because they didn't Control Shift V. They just Control V'd. If you Control Shift V, it clears all of the formatting and posts it as the text where you are. So if you copy something in Comic Sans like this is, and you want to paste it as Arial, and because your document's in Arial, just Control Shift V and it clears all of that formatting. Control T will open you a new tab, and Control W will close the tab on any browser or any window that you have open on your thing. And then Control Shift T will open the recent ones. I apologize to people who use Mac. These are slightly different if you have Mac, but there are key commands and slightly different. I think you have to use a Apple button or something like. So yeah, you might have to change it up a little bit, but using the keyboard to do all these things for you will like save you tons of time, especially when you're entering grades or typing on the keyboard or doing anything on a browser. Control T, go. It's really useful. All right, next. An Omnibox. Do you know what an Omnibox is? You do, but you don't realize that you know what it is. This thing up here at the top of your browser, right here, it's the Omnibox. And it's not, it used to be called like the URL bar because you would type in the universal remote location and go to the website and you had all those little flyers and it said, don't forget the HTTP. You can forget the HTTP now. You don't need that anymore because an Omnibox represents like just the fact that it will recognize any URL. So you don't have to type HTTP. You can type weather, like weather Kyoto, and it'll come up with the weather. You can type any math problem, and it will just answer the question for you. If it's really complex and it has like a lot of variables, of course you want to go to Wolfram Alpha. But if you just need to do quick math or a quick conversion, you can type in a timer. You can type in 32-minute timer, and boom, it just starts a timer. It brings it right up. If you type docs.new, sheets.new, forms.new, slides.new, or mail to with a colon, it opens that thing. So you can just open a new Google Doc right away. You can open it forces you to your default mail thing and opens a blank email. You can type YT in a search term and it will search YouTube. You can type @Gemini and then it will automatically search Gemini and you will be launched into the AI. You can type in, like here I said, conversions, like a certain amount of money into a certain amount of other money or degrees into Celsius. You can write a word and then define, or define and then a word, and it brings up the dictionary. And like I said, you don't need HTTP anymore, but sometimes you need www. Some web designers don't put their settings properly. So you do need to make sure sometimes you have the www. There are a lot of websites here in Japan that won't load. And even though they advertise their URL and it won't load. And I'm like, why isn't this loading? Wait. And I put www dot at the beginning and then it loads. That's a programmer setting. Sorry. A lot of people blame computers for stuff. It's not the computers. It's the people programming. Let's talk about templates. Maybe you make lots of presentations. This template that I'm using, and most of the templates I use are from Slides Carnival. If you've not used Slides Carnival, you're missing out. Especially with your students, they probably love Canva. Now everybody makes everything in Canva. It's not as versatile as I would like it to be yet, but maybe they'll get there. But Slides Carnival has all these slides for free, all these templates for free, makes it pretty, makes it easy. They have like Jeopardy games and all kinds of other stuff already like hyperlinked and everything. It's amazing. And the lady that does it's really sweet and really nice. I really recommend if you need any sort of templates, go to Slides Carnival. All right, number 5, Chrome history. Your history is always recorded by your Chrome browser unless you clear it and or turn that function off. If you ever slow down with your computer and things aren't working or websites aren't working, you might want to clear your history, especially advanced search, and go back. There's an option to the beginning of time, I think it's called, and you can go all the way back and delete it. But it's also useful when you accidentally Control W and kill your tab. You should have the newest updates of Chrome in the top left-hand corner of your screen, a little caret pointing down. And if you click that, it opens up all of your recent history just right there. I constantly am closing a tab and then I need it back open almost immediately. So I can click there and get it back open. Maybe I closed it 3 or 4 tabs ago, so I can't just Control-Shift-T. But also on the right-hand side of your screen, you can always click the 3 dots and you can go to history. And then you can go to, it's got all of your recent tabs. And also down here, as you can see in the bottom, it says your devices. You can see all of the history on all of your other devices if you're synced and logged in with your Chrome browser, which is really nice because I'll have had something open on my phone and I'll be like, I needed to look at that website more. And you can go into your devices and just click here and then open it on the browser that you're currently on. And all of your devices sync as long as you're logged in everywhere you go. Voice type. I don't like typing. I like typing if I have a keyboard, but if I have like a on-screen keyboard, I don't want to type. So I talk to my phone. not all of the apps you can do this with. And sometimes when I'm on my computer, like I'm working on something and I just want to do like a dump of thoughts and I don't want to type it yet. I really want to use my voice, but not every website you can do it with. But a couple of the apps you can do it with, and also for translation, I'm going to talk about today. The first one is for when you need something and you don't know how to do it. So, for example, I cannot remember this kanji. I cannot remember Shokuin Jitsu, and I work in the Shokuin Jitsu every day. But I cannot remember how to type it properly or get the right one. So I simply open this on my phone and I say Shokuin Jitsu, and it brings up the kanji, and then I can copy paste it into whatever other app I need. So if you are like me and you are having problems with kanji, this works. I also had a student who was studying Arabic and could not remember how to write things. And so he and I would sit and practice his pronunciation to bring it up, and then he could say it, and then, that's the one to say. And I was like, I can't read it. So I hope it's the right one, but it's really useful. All right. The next one, here's some more text recognition. Google Translate text recognition. So you can use that same app, Google Translate, to also get text for you. So as I said, I have problems with kanji. Sometimes I have a kanji on a piece of paper that I need to put in a document, and I don't know what it sounds like to type it. You can do this with any language. You find the kanji or whatever it is that you need to have. You take a picture of it with your Google Translate. You can highlight it and click this button that says send to translate home. It will send it to your translate home, and then you can copy paste it and put it wherever you need, whatever the kanji is that you want to find. So if you need to replicate or have a student pull from any language they are working in and they don't know, I had a student who was doing French and we couldn't figure out how to make the little cute little C with the curly Q on the top. Sorry, if you speak French, I can't remember what that's called. But we would just do this and copy paste it into the documents they need. It is
Erin,
very, very useful. Yes.
can you go back and explain how to do that again?
Okay, so you find the kanji that you need.
Okay.
And then you take your phone and you open the Google Translate app. And inside the Google Translate app, there's an option called camera. And you push that button. And then you hold it over it and it'll start to automatically translate it if you have automatic translation turned on, which I obviously do all the time because I'm bad at kanji. And then you click this button that says send to translate home. It might look different on your phone if you don't have an Android, but I know it's there because I use it on the iPad too. And then it goes into the translate home and you've got all the lists of kanji and everything that's on that page. And you just scroll to the one you want because you know what it looks like. You got it, but you just don't know how to type it. And then you highlight it and you copy it. And then you open your other document. I always use Google Docs. So even though if I'm working on my computer, I've got that same Google Doc, I can open it on my phone. And I just paste it on the Google Doc and then it appears there on my computer. By the way, this is also really good if somebody hands you a PDF with like a 5-paragraph something, and they're like, here, just make this PDF into a document. And you're like, I don't want to sit here and retype this whole thing. Even if it's in English, I don't want to do that. So you just take a picture of it, that 5 paragraphs, and you open it up in Google Translate and copy paste the English out and into your document. You can copy any text and have it appear anywhere. I just use it more often when I can't type the kanji. But yeah, it's really useful. And it just, and then you have it. So yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Use the text recognition.
Got it.
All right. Let's go into searching a little bit more. Do you guys know what Boolean operators are? If a programmer is good, they've turned this on for any search fields that you have to search in. These are just the smattering. There are like thousands of these. But for example, if you use the word and in caps, it usually means that it will find both or all keywords. So if you're searching word lists, if you're searching through something and you want to find both words or both words in a search, you put and. If you want one or the other, you put or. You can put football, not soccer. Some people code this a little differently. So you also see minus work something like football minus soccer, and soccer is attached to the minus. It depends on the person who coded it. Quotation marks are my favorite. I use it all the time, especially when I'm searching on Google and I want an exact quote. You put quote marks on the opposite sides of what you're trying to say, and it will find that exact quote in whatever it is that you're searching, that exact string. Parentheses, you can group together keywords. Asterisks, and then as you see my screen ends. But if you search Boolean operators, you will find lists of hundreds of them that you can use to make your searches more efficient. But quotations is one I use all the time.
Why do they have such a strange name?
I do not remember. I imagine it was the person who started coding them or remembering making them. Maybe the guy was named Boole. I know there used to be a computer company called Boole and Babbage, but I have no idea if it's related to that.
Got it.
I'm sure a Google could tell you. Google, do a quick
Right.
Google. No, Bitly. I'm sure you use something to shorten your links. If you don't use something to shorten your links, please use Bitly or something else, because I cannot tell you the flyers I get with these epic URLs on them. And I'm so sad. And I'm like, why would anybody copy and paste that and think it's a good idea? No one is going to type that. Bitly is free. If you use Bitly with your students, I recommend you write it the way I've written it here, bit.ly, because if you leave it a lowercase l, the students tend to think maybe it could be a 1, or it could be an L, or it could be an I. It's really kind of confusing. So if you put a capital L, it's fine, because URLs, the web address, as long as it's in front of this first slash, it doesn't matter if it's capitals or lowercase or however you write it, as long as it's before the first slash. After the slash, it becomes folders and file names. So you have to make sure it's the case sensitive, it's the case, but this is all before that first slash. So you can stylize the URL however you want to. So I recommend a capital L. Inside there, inside Bitly, you can copy paste your epically long link. And then you can stylize the ending however you want. For example, this is one I made. We have a thing, an event called the Super Global Forum, or excuse me, the Sagano Global Forum. And so I put SGF and then timer all in lowercase, and then the kids can type that on their iPad really quick and get it up. It's great for Google Forms. We did this. This is a TYL event we did. Teaching younger learners. Please enjoy Teaching Younger Learners events for you from JELF. Yay. Positive behavior was one of the events that we did. And to sign up for those events, we did a pause dash behavior. So you can also generate QR codes from in here. So I really recommend Bitly if you need QR codes or if you need a nice short link. Please use short. Keep Awake. All right, we're 10 in. We're almost a third done. Keep Awake is a Chrome add-on extension. So I think you guys can see my bar, right? On the Chrome bar, you have this little puzzle piece. All right, this puzzle piece are your extensions. All of your extensions you can add from the Chrome Web Store. Oops. This one is called Keep Awake. Keep Awake is right here. And you can see I have it pinned. And so you can see up here, it's got a little sun mark on it. Keep Awake keeps your screen active. I had a lot of students who would log in with their Chromebooks or log in with their Windows, and then they would start talking and answering questions. And during their presentation, the screen would time out. And when the screen would time out, it would automatically log out. And then they would go to resume their slides and they'd have to log in again, and everybody's watching them type their password, and it's taking all kinds of time, and it's really a mess. This little guy here, if you click him, so he starts out as a moon. When it's just a regular moon, your computer behaves as usual. When it's a sun, it will keep your screen active indefinitely. This is bad for battery life. So if you have a laptop and you want to make sure that you do save some of your battery life, you can change it to the little sunset. The sunset will allow the screen to time out, but it will keep the computer logged in. But I have used this. I cannot tell you how many times. It's really nice when you just want to keep your screen active. I know people who have played like YouTube videos in the background or in a small corner of their screen to keep their screen active. But this little guy here, it's just a toggle and it can keep it awake. So it's just an easy, quick Chrome extension. All right, remote for slides. I should be able to show you my other screen here. So I do presentations with my phone a lot of the times, and like not from my phone, but using my phone to control the slides. And you can do that, and you get this little thing here that says present with remote for slides when you install a Chrome extension called remote for slides. So remote for slides is not a Google program, but it is available in the Chrome Web Store. By the way, when you install things from the Chrome Web Store, please look at the reviews. Make sure it has decent ratings because some of them are not great. This one has a rating of 4.1 stars, so I tried it because I thought maybe it'd be good, and it's great. You go to your slides, you click on present with remote. On the side of your screen, this little tab will appear. I think I'm in it right now. Yep. So you can see it over here on the side of my screen. Then it will open this little bar and it says start remote. And then it'll show you a code, and you can use that code to control your slides. On your phone, you open the identical looking app called Remote. And then the app looks like this. You type in the code that your slides give you. I think, let me see if I can show you guys the code on my current one here. If it's gonna, I don't know if it'll do it in the Zoom. Ooh, there it goes. It'll do it in the Zoom for me right here. So if I start the remote, this is the code right now I could put into my app to control these slides and advance them and move them. But it pops up a code for you, and then you just hit connect, and then you get this little view. And so you can use your, if you forget your little clicker, you have one if you have your phone. I cannot tell you the number of conferences I've used this at. It's just so nice to be able to control your slides. And it's free. Yay. Doctopus. Does anybody use Doctopus? Maybe not. Does anybody use Google Classroom? Okay, 2 people use Google Classroom. Okay, so if you use Google Classroom, you know it's really nice, and you can use rubrics. Gosh, I love rubrics, and a variety of other things to assess your kids and to do stuff. I do a lot of performance tasks, and so I need to grade them on the spot, and so the rubrics are really, really great. But one problem I have is I have 40 kids in a class, and I want to send out group presentation slides. And when you have to send out slides in a group with one, and you want to have the template, and you want to give the students the template, and so I have 10 groups, 4 kids in a group. In order to do that in Google Classroom, I would have to make 10 different assignments, and I would have to attach and make 10 different templates. And that takes some time, and it's really annoying. Doctopus does it for you. So Doctopus is kind of an old, limping, still around add-on that predates before Google Classroom. But you simply find it in your spreadsheets. So spreadsheets and docs, you can add add-ons as well. If you haven't added on some things, there's all kinds of fun things you can add on. But you go to the add-ons menu, and you go to get add-ons, and then you get Doctopus, and it's an octopus for docs. And what he does is you make a roster of your class, and it generates the roster. And after it generates the roster, it's like, okay, what do you want to send to your kids? And you choose the template that you want, and you choose the students that you want. You give them group letters. So I use actually emoji for groups sometimes. I use letters for groups other times, and I put the same emoji for the 4 kids I want, or the same letter. And then you push a button, and it generates all of the slide templates for you, and it shares it automatically to the kids in Google Drive. Done. And so with a click of a button, I can do, it would take me like half an hour to sit and click, 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 and send all the assignments. One day, I think Google Classroom will be able to do this, but it cannot do it yet. So until then, I will use the octopus for docs called Doctopus. You just go there and install it. Long press to home. Does anybody have an Android phone? Yay, I'm talking to you. If you do not have an Android phone, I'm sorry, you should have an Android phone because this is really cool. I think you can do similar things with Apple phones. I just do not know how. In the middle of your phone, there's always a home button on the screen. If you long press on the home button, so like here's an example. These are some Buc-ee stickers. I don't know if you know what Buc-ee's is. If you know what Buc-ee's is, yay. If you don't know what Buc-ee's is, it's okay. You don't need to know what Buc-ee's is. But these are stickers of the mascot of Buc-ee's, and they are for sale on Mercari. When I go on Mercari, sometimes, many times, I cannot read all of the kanji, and I cannot read everything that it says there. But I want to read it. So I simply scroll to the part that I want to read. Then I long press on my home button, and then I click translate, and it translates everything that's on my screen. This is useful because other than banking apps, which block it, they block screen readers, you can translate any app in any language at any time, simply by long pressing on the home button. Mwah. It is just I love it all the time. You can also search the screen. So like if you see a picture, you can long press and circle the picture and search it. You can circle the words and search them. But it is the most useful thing. I've showed all of my students that have Android phones how to do this. And we all sit and play with it. And we have not yet figured out how to do it. I'm sure there's a way to do it on your iPhones. Anybody know? But I do not know. But it's amazing. And it has freed up so many apps for the kids who want to use English apps, for me who wants to use apps with Japanese on it and I can't read all the kanji. It's just lovely. Response validation. We're going to get technical and into forms here. Anybody use Google Forms? I'm shocked if you don't use Google Forms. I know you use Google Forms. I use them all of the time. I use them to assess my kids. I use them for activities and a variety of other things. And I have a lot of activities that are based on Google Forms. When my kids would fill out Google Forms, I would want it to self-grade the form. And I would have one-word answers. And I would say in the question here, you can see I wrote, please answer with one word only. And they would constantly answer with a space at the end of the word, and it would mark it wrong. Or they would put a space at the beginning of the word, and it would mark it wrong. Or they would answer with 2 words, which I told them not to, and it would mark it wrong. And I wanted to actually grade them authentically to see if they're doing the right thing. So how do you fix this little thing so that it grades them right? You turn on response validation. So within every single question, there's a little 3-dot thing here, and you can click it, and you have the option to turn on response validation. If you don't know the codes for response validation, you can Google Forms response validation codes, and it will come up with hundreds of codes that you can try and do. The one I wanted was no space. To check for spaces, you push /s. So I said within a regular expression, it has to be a regular expression, I do not want it to contain a space. And if they do write a space, it will say, please answer with only one word or no space, and it will mark it right there. And so when they do this, it gives them a little red error, and it won't let them advance past that question. It won't let them submit the form because it says you have filled out this one wrong. So response validation is really nice. You can turn it on if you only want to have a phone number, if you only want to have an email, if you only want to have certain things. You can code each single answer space so that you can only get the things you're looking for. And then you don't get all kinds of weird stuff in the responses. Just search response validation codes and you'll get a ton of them. Here are the Google list of types of rules. There's rules for short answer questions. There's rules for paragraph questions. There's rules for checkbox questions. So it's not just the spaces and the words. You can turn on rules for all of your questions, and then you will only get the answers that you want. There's also really good when collecting data from people and from on surveys, and you want only certain things. Response validation will help you a lot. Here's an example of a bunch of the codes. This is why I say you need to Google them. For example, if you want a course number like a university and it has to have all capitals and no spaces, you can turn on this one, and then you will only get responses that look like that. A US zip code. So you want it to look like that or like that. You put in this certain code. A certain postal code that looks like this, like a Canadian one. You put in this code. I can't remember these codes. I Google them when I need them. So Google response validation codes, and you can find the one that will get you the response in your form field that you want. And then you won't get all kinds of weird stuff, and then you have to ask people to fill out the form again. All right, your Google Apps sidebar. You have this. I have it over here. So here's this is Google Slides. You have this on Docs, you have it on everything. And maybe you notice there's a little button over here, and you click it and this little side panel comes out. Or if the panel really annoys you, you can push it and it goes away. This is on your app sidebar. It's really useful because you can connect all of your apps together. For example, you see an email and you go, oh, pictures. I want to take pictures. I want to do this. You can click on the calendar icon and it'll take you straight to your calendar, and you can put in your calendar entry for the thing you want right then and there. You don't have to open a new tab and go anywhere else, and it will synchronize with this email. So if you forget the details, you can click it and it will go back to the email with all of your details. Really, really useful. Really, really nice. So I know a lot of people find it just this annoying little thing that just sits over there. but it's actually really useful. You can click the plus button and add a whole bunch of other things onto this. So it's up for you to play with it, but it exists and it's really nice and useful. A direct dock link on your phone. And this one I know you can do on iPhones and iPads as well. Do you ever have a doc, like a Google Doc that you use every day, all the time, or your schedule, or something that you always use? Mine is this one right here. This is my work calendar. So I need to be able to hyperlink. Oh, it's taking forever to load. Imagine my doc that's taking forever to load. But I need it all the time. And so when you have, oh, excuse me, that's my Google Drive. When you want to get to that link at any given point in time, you can create a link to it on the phone. So for example, here's the slide presentation I'm working on today. You go to that link, you go to that file that you want to open, like my calendar here. And then you go to add to home screen. And when you choose add to home screen, this little screen comes up and it says, are you sure you want to add this file to your home screen? And you click add, and then it will add this little widget to your home screen. And then you can just click on your home screen and it automatically goes to that doc every single time. I use this for a variety of really important docs that have my important information on it, docs that have my, like I said, my schedule on it. But you can hyperlink straight to any doc straight from your home screen on your phone. I can't tell you the doc I was trying to open that's taking forever is my calendar for the kids, and the kids will catch me on the way to class, and I have like 2 minutes to get to class, and they're like, when do we have class next? And I'm like, follow me. And as I'm walking, I'm pushing that button and it's bringing up the schedule. I'm like, all right, it'll be on Thursday and it'll be fifth period. Okay, bye. And then I just keep going because I can't remember all of that. It's just really useful. Google Lens. This is something you should use all the time. If you don't, you're missing out. You can search anything at this point with your camera on your camera phone using Google Lens. When you click the Google Lens app, you can have the app, or if you actually have just a Google search, you guys probably can't see my phone, but any Google search bar on your phone, on the right side of it, it'll have the camera logo, and you just push the camera logo to search and it will bring up Google Lens. You can search a homework question and it'll get you the answer. You can search a picture and it will find out, you know, who made that picture. I was doing a breakout game with a bunch of people and there was some art on the wall and you were supposed to like read all the clues around the room to find out who the artist was. But I said, can we use our phones? And they said, yes. And I just pulled out my phone and took a picture of him. I'm like, okay, it's by this artist. And we skipped like a 10-minute process just because you can just find out what anything is now. So search with your phone, search with Google Lens if you don't, and teach the kids how to use it because it'll help them a lot. Google Voice. Google Voice is useful if you need to make an international call. If you only have a Japanese Google account, this will not work. Those of you who have the ability or some other way to make a Google account in another country, this may be useful to you. I used to live in the United States, so I have a US-based United States Google account. With that Google account, I signed up for a free Google Voice phone number, and you have this app on my phone. I have an American phone number for free with this app because I have an American Google account. This works in a variety of countries that Google has arranged with. You get a free, it's called VoIP. It's a voice number over the internet. And when I need to verify, I don't know, payments with a credit card, or I need to verify something else and I have to have an American-based number, I use this app and I can get it for free. Some of my students need to make phone calls to the United States sometimes for scholarship information or for travel or for an exchange program. I've let them use my number because it's free and we sit in the office and I can call for them and I don't have to pay anything because it's a free number. People can call me from the United States when I'm booking stuff on that side, and it works. So it's a really useful tool, and it's a free phone number in another country. So if you have a Google account based in another country, you can do this. Good luck. I don't know how to advise this for everybody from every country, but it's nice if you do have one based in another country. Mobile rubrics. If you do use Google Classroom and you use rubrics, like I mentioned, you might be frustrated with grading things on the spot. So like I do poster sessions in my classroom, and we'll have 20 posters all around the classroom, and I have to go around in 50 minutes and make sure I hit 10 different posters and score them. I used to have to carry around my computer to do this to grade on the Google rubric, and a computer gets really heavy on your arm after 50 minutes. I usually do with the iPad too. The iPad also gets heavy, but I wanted to use my phone, and the Google Classroom app on the phone didn't work very well. It kept like automatically closing when I try to click a thing on the rubric. If you open it, however, in incognito mode is called secret mode on the Japanese settings list, but it comes up and it stays up like it would a browser. It doesn't force you to move over to the app. This is a trick you can use for a variety of different apps. If they want you to open in an app and it says, oh, you can only open this in the app, you can only do it this way, open an incognito tab on your Chrome browser and you can force it to open in the browser. Forcing things to open in the browser is really useful when it just doesn't display properly in the app. So incognito mode, if you're not making use of it on your Chrome browser, use it. It's really, really useful. It's not just for hiding your internet activity. It's also for forcing things to open in the browser when it wants to move over to an app. How can you organize your Google Classroom? Those of you who do use Google Classroom, it's really messy, but you can grab it and drag any class to any place you want on the page. It's easier sometimes to do it in the app on the phone. You can simply click on any one of your assignments and drag them up and drag them down to any place you want. You can drag them by topics too and arrange them anywhere you want. So it's really useful. So arrange and organize your Google Classroom. I get really frustrated when I see Google Classrooms where everything is in the stream and it's all a mess. The kids don't function well that way. It's like a cluttered thing. So play with your Google Classroom and organize it and make it pretty. And it's really easy to do, mostly just drag and drop. I mentioned Google Keep earlier. I wanted to talk about a little hack you can do to save your pictures. Have you ever put a picture into a document, I don't know, 10 years ago, and then you remember, oh, I have that one picture, and then you open the document and you can't save the picture out of the document? This could be a Word document, it could be a Google document, but you embedded it in a document ages ago and now you can't get it out, or slides, and you can't save it out as a picture. You could do a screenshot, but it might get it in lower quality, but you want to save your picture. If you go, this is an example of a Google Doc, but you can upload Microsoft Word docs to Google and do this exact same procedure. When you right click on it, you can't save the picture as a picture. However, you can go to view more actions, and inside view more actions, you can tell it to save it as a Google Keep. Then you bring it over into your sidebar, which I mentioned earlier, and save it into your Google Keep. Then you go to the Google Keep website and you open the picture and you can save as image. And then you have your picture. You've extracted your picture successfully as a JPEG, as an image file back. So you can save those old pictures that you thought, oh, I only have it in a document and I can't figure out how to get it back as a picture. This is one way. Now, the other way I mentioned, of course, is just by taking screenshots. I know you can do this on a Mac too, but on a Chromebook, you simply push this little button on the top. If you hit Control Shift and then that button, you can do like a screen crop. On Windows, if you hit Windows button Shift S, you can do snipping tool, which is a screen crop, and you can crop anything out of any point in any screen. My kids use this all the time. I tell them how to make sure to not do this illegally. Don't encourage theft of images and pictures. They have to do proper citation as long as Creative Commons attribution is required. But it is a way to get any image. I use this a lot when I want to do show the kids what my screen looks like and share how they should do it. Just make a screenshot. And I like that I don't have to edit it. I used to have to edit in Paint, like on Windows. I, print screen and then open Paint and then paste it and then I hack it down. But just Windows Shift S, boom. You can get what you need. Voice in. Like I said, I want to talk to my screen. If you install this Google extension, it's speech to text dictation. You just install it up here and then you can see mine's right there. You can type with your voice on any screen on your computer. And then you don't have to sit and type everything. Use Google Forms to collect files. You collect files from your students. I do. And then sometimes I have the problem when they use Google Drive that they share it to me and then they delete it off of their Google Drive because they think, oh, I shared it to you, so you have a copy. And then I go to open their file and it says, the file has been deleted by the owner. Please request for the owner to get it out of their bin. And you're like, no, child, I told you to share it with me, not delete it. Instead of doing it that way, and so to make sure that you always have a copy of the file, use the Google form to collect the file. So you simply turn on this option, file upload, and then you can choose the type of file that they send you. So like if you want an MP3 file and they're sending you a Google Doc, no. Choose the type of file you want them to be able to share with you. I do this a lot for PDF files as well. And then when they submit it, you become the owner of the file. So they can't delete it. They can't edit it anymore because they've sent it to you and it's your file. This is great for collecting things for memberships. This is great for collecting things for contests, application documents, but you collect it within the Google form as a file, not as a link. Document shortcuts. If you type on Google Docs, I think a lot of people use Word. I use Google Docs for absolutely everything. If you put an @ mark while you're typing, you get this whole full menu that comes down. You can input smart chips through your calendar. You can do drop-down menus and boxes, placeholder chips. They have templates. So like if you're trying to build an agenda, you can just click on meeting notes, an email draft, product roadmap, review tracker. I haven't ever used all of these. I've used meeting notes once or twice, and I've used email draft a couple times. But you can insert files. You can insert calendar events, but you just type the @ mark. Over on the right, if you want an emoji, you ever type on a Google Doc and you want to have an emoji, you just type the colon and then the emoji list comes up. And then you can type an emoji on a Google Doc. The kids love this. They always going to be putting in emojis and they have to open another tab and find the emoji and then copy paste. No. Just type a colon and it brings up the emoji list and then you can scroll through and put them in there. Your control share settings when you share a Google file to somebody, please do not just share editing rights to your Google documents. My kids do this all the time and then the partner messes with it or changes sharing settings or removes somebody. You can never remove the owner, but you can mess up the file a lot. When you share to somebody, of course, designate who gets which rights, who gets view rights, who get comment rights. But if you never notice, there's a little gear right here. Click that gear when you go to share a file. When you click that gear, you can determine, can editors change permissions and share? And I usually turn this off because I'm the owner, so I don't want anybody else to change how they can share the file. And then viewers, commenters can see the option to download, print, and copy. Maybe you don't want them to be able to download it. You don't want them to be able to make a copy. Turn it off, and then they can't. So please click that gear and fix your sharing settings when you share Google Docs. Editing your bookmark bar. I've had my bookmark bar up here this whole time because I use it all the time for all my extensions and everything else. But you can click on this 3 dots and you can go into your bookmarks. I don't know if you can see everything. Oh, mine's way too big. But you can edit and manage all of those. Let me turn on my... Nope, I don't want my history. Okay, hold on. I'm going too far. Control Shift B. There we go. So for example, you notice I've got all these little icons up here. And this one even has no words on it. This is my schedule that I mentioned earlier. All you have to do is drag and drop any URL here and it will highlight it. Then you can right click it and go to edit and you can edit the name that it appears as. So I have all these tiny icons in here because they're all important files that I use all the time. Please play with your bookmark bar and put up all the nice little things that you want to be able to click on all the time. You can make them shorter. This is a Girl Scout thing that I use all the time. It had an epically long name and took up half my bookmark bar. So I edited the name down to my GS and then I could see it really easily. Some, like I said, I take the words off completely. But you can edit your bookmark bar and make it as versatile as you want to have it. A Sheets row link. I was going to bring up a Google Sheet and do it, but I'm just going to bring up a blank one real quick. You guys use Google Sheets? I don't know how useful this is for somebody who doesn't use it as much as I do. But anytime I would open a certain Google Doc, it always goes up to the very top line, the top bar. And I might be on a completely different tab, and I might be on a certain line I want it to open to. You can click on any tab, maybe you have multiple tabs, any tab, the row where you want to open it, and then you choose View More Actions, get link to this range. And when you click that, it will copy the link to this point on your Google spreadsheet. And then you can bookmark this link. And anytime you open the file, when you click that link, it will go straight to that line. It is so incredibly useful. And just if you are a power user of Google Spreadsheets, it helps a lot. Shared drives. If you do not use shared drives, I brought this up here. So this is my shared drives that I have at school. Your shared drives has all of the things that you have that are organized just for you. So here's one of my shared drives for a class I do. The nice thing about shared drives is that only the people who are within it can see the files. People who are outside, you can turn it off so they can't get in, and it can't be shared out, so you can control settings. Then you can arrange it how you want all your members to see it. We do this for teaching younger learners in JALT. If you're a member of JALT, your JALT organization has the power to have a shared drive. When new users come and new users go, you can just add them and drop them. You don't have to worry about, oh no, so-and-so left and they were the owner of all the docs. Oh my gosh. When you're in a shared drive, the organization owns the file. So these files are owned by my school. So if I stop teaching this class and I pass it on to another teacher, they've got it now. And then none of those files are lost. And finally, TeamViewer. TeamViewer is not a Google tool, but it is something that I want everybody to know how that exists. For one thing, to be safe about, but also to use. TeamViewer is a program that allows you to access any computer anywhere in the world as long as TeamViewer is launched on that other computer. So what does that mean and why is this useful? It started out because my mom lives on the other side of the world and she would constantly delete an icon she needed and not know how to find it. So I would use this to log into her computer and to fix her computer. But then it became something that I found useful because I can't do everything I want on my phone. However, if my computer that I'm talking to you on right now is on at my house and I have this program running and I'm on my phone on the other side of the country doing something, I can log into this computer on my phone and run any program that I want to on my phone on the computer and then get the result back to me on the phone. So yeah, and I could also access my home computer from my work computer, and vice versa. But I do want to say you have to be careful with TeamViewer. If you do this, make sure you have a screen lock, a PIN on your computer, or a password so that nobody can hack into your stuff because your computer will then be online. So just make sure you have a nice PIN and a nice password. And then I've gone through 30 tools. I think I made it inside of the time. Does anybody have any questions other than, oop, by the way, there's a TeamViewer logo. Slides Carnival, because he's Slides Carnival. I know you want that. There you go. There's my slides. If you want my slides, so you want to go back through it. And I always put it at the end because if I put it at the beginning, then everybody's just looking at my slides instead of looking at the screen. But there you go. Any questions, any comments, anything? Did I go too fast? I'm sorry if I geeked out a little bit too much for some people.
Oh. That was certainly a speedy review of googly tricks, but thank you so much. I took note.
Yeah.
No, there was one question I had. You talked about Chrome Web Store and download stuff from there. Is it free or do you pay or how does it work?
It's free. Anything on the Chrome Web Store is free. Sometimes like you got to be careful because like, if a company has their Chrome thing, maybe you get it, but in order to use the services they provide within it, you have to pay. So it's kind of like any app store. You have to make sure you know like what's happening behind the scenes. But yes, it is free. Like apps are free.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, always check the publisher.
And the reviews.
I hope everybody got at least one thing. If you didn't, if you got no things, I'm sorry.
No, this is very helpful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I was just, well, my Google account is Indonesian, so I was just trying Google Voice, but I couldn't do it too. It's not available for Indonesian too, actually. Sadly.
You might have to go on a VPN or use a team viewer to
Yep.
team view into a computer there. Sometimes it does block you because of geolocation.
Yeah, I was just
next-
trying because my Google account is
time
Indonesian
you're on
Google
a trip.
account.
Yeah.
And sometimes
Yeah.
I know if you ever travel to the States and you have two Gmail accounts, you can use one and open it up in the States and it turns into a US account.
Yeah, there's all kinds of tricks to
Yeah.
go through the system.
Or if you even, I think my friend said even if you go to like Guam, if you go to Guam, that's a US territory, that kind of thing.
Inside.
So anyway.
Yeah, I just needed it. I needed a phone number in the States and it helped. I have friends in Canada who do the same thing. I don't know all the countries. I know I don't know all the countries that Google has a phone number in. I'm sorry, it's not in Indonesia.
that's okay. I was just trying just to see.
It was so fun because I was watching you guys, and those of you who had your cameras on, like I'd say certain things, and some people would be like, and then like you could tell they were going off to go look at something, and I'm like, ooh, they're Googling us right now.
I'm going to sit on my computer tomorrow and try all these things out. The ones I haven't tried out before.
I use so much stuff all the time, and it's just second nature. I cannot tell you, like, for example, I talked about Doctopus delivering documents. That's based on the desktop mode. You can't do that on your phone. So I'll be on the way to school and I'll go, crud, I forgot to send out all those files to the kids. And I'll log into TeamViewer on my phone and open my home computer and open Google Drive and open the spreadsheet. And while I'm sitting on the train, I'm using Doctopus through TeamViewer on my phone to my computer at my house, sending out the files to the kids. So by the time I get to school, it's all sent out. And I'm like, okay. Since I was totally on time, I didn't, what? You got your file? It's 8:30. I wasn't late.
Does anybody else have any other questions or comments?
I hope it was useful at some point for something.
Well, I'm a Mac user. Everything is Mac, but it was useful to me because I do use Chrome and I know where my extensions bar is.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's why I tried to do it through Chrome. So even if I'm like sharing some fun Android things, like a lot of the stuff you just, as long as you use Chrome browser. And I know a lot of people hate Chrome browser.
I don't hate.
I have so many like people in the back going Firefox, and I'm like, sorry. But it's just so useful. I know Google owns all of my information, but I'm not exciting enough.
Sorry. You said
what?
your school was a science school?
Yeah, Super Science High School.
So do you think your students are better at using all of these, I guess, Google applications because you're teaching them? What do you think in general it looks like? Like I know the elementary schools have a Google Chromebook, but do you think
it depends on the district? The elementary schools and junior high schools are allowed to choose what platform they would like. I know that Nara Prefecture, starting from when they're little, they use prefectural schools. I don't know about in municipalities, but prefectural schools are all on Google. So it depends. In my prefecture, my school, and I think like 2 others use Google, but everybody else uses Teams and Microsoft stuff. So it depends on exposure, but I think all exposure is good exposure. Like we have a teacher at my school who like only teaches like PowerPoint stuff. And when we first started using Google, he was like, I'm so sorry, I'm not going to use Google in my class. I'm like, please don't, please keep teaching PowerPoint because that's important too. Because in some classes, they're going to use PowerPoint. In some classes, they might want to use Google. like the more exposure to get, the more tech they use, the better it just makes them. Like, look at me, I don't like Zoom, but I'm here today using it and I'm gonna get a little bit better every time. And that's important for me. I can't make everybody use Google Meet. We all get better.
Yes, if we use it, we get better at it.
Yeah. Well, that's like people ask me, like, I was doing this presentation a little while ago for another group, and they were like, how do you know all this stuff? And I said, because I Googled it at some point. Like I couldn't figure out how to do this thing that I wanted to do. So I just searched it on Google until I found it. And then I kept doing it. So I remembered. There's a lot of stuff where I Google it once and I don't do it for 2 years. And then I go, oh wait. And I just Google it again. But hopefully the kids learn that too.
So your advice would also be for educators to start Googling things and see how they do it.
Yeah.
How things can be done. And I
It's
think
really important.
that's really important. And do you find ever that your school blocks anything so that you can't do some things? Do you ever get that?
So it used to be that way. But now, at least in my prefecture, like it's kind of the wild, wild west. Like we can't afford to monitor everything all the time. So like, for example, the kids have iPads and there's no management on them. So it's open range. Now we do have our wireless internet in the school runs through a filter. So the internet itself is blocking them. So they can block some certain apps and some certain things. But we have I haven't run into anything. I mean, if there's anything blocked, they shouldn't be looking at it anyways. Like YouTube's unlocked and everything that I need them to use is unlocked. But we did have problems in the past before, especially before that. I will say that is something that happened due to Corona, was just the need for, hey, we got to be able to use this. We got to be able to use that. So, but Kyoto's really great about that. We've gotten everything set up really nicely now.
Right.
Yes, and they're saying in the chat, Rick's saying in the chat, to ask ChatGPT how to do almost anything in Google. Yes, just remember that ChatGPT, he's overly confident, I like to say. I don't think that he lies on purpose, but he's overly confident. The other day I was asking him to do some stuff and he was like, I'll make a Google spreadsheet and then I'll share it to you. And I said, oh, wow, I didn't know you could do that. Cool. And so I said, when will it be ready? And it said, it's ready soon. And then I went back in like 5 minutes. I was like, is the spreadsheet ready? And he's like, not yet. And I said, about how long? And he said, in 10 minutes. And I said, cool. So I went back in 10 minutes. I was like, is it ready yet? He's like, not yet. And then I said, ChatGPT, can you make a Google spreadsheet? And it's like thinking. I'm afraid actually I cannot make a Google spreadsheet. I'm like, then why didn't you say you could? So yeah. Yeah. And I was like, how about you just tell me the formulas and I'll put it in there? And he's like, okay, I can do that. Yeah. Just overly confident that he knows the answer and then he can do it and it ends up lying like a child. So we'll teach it. But it is great for formulas. And if you have to code anything, like even for like data and results, like shoot, it's great. It's amazing.
Actually, I had a students, they had to design a product and they ended up designing something called a massaging shirt. And one guy, he put the idea on ChatGPT, so up came this image of like what a massaging shirt might look like. So it was rather interesting.
Yeah, I use it to make pictures for my dialogues and my tests. And I was doing one about skiing and the kid almost hitting a tree. And I was like, make a picture of like a tree. He's almost hitting a tree. And like every single one I tried to generate, the tree was chasing the child down the hill and like the tree was moving. I was like, no, honey, that's not how trees work.
Yes, it's what you ask it to
though.
do. Sometimes doesn't come up with what you want.
Attacked by a tree. No.
Okay, does anybody else have any more questions or comments?
All right, yeah, but anything I can try to help. I can't fix your computer, but I can try to answer your question.
Okay. So if there's no more questions or comments, so thank you very much, Erin, for sharing those 30 tips with us. I found it very useful and I'm sure everyone else did too. So
Yay,
thank you.
thank you.
And by the way, also Erin is the president of the GELT TYLSIG. So please check out our website as well for upcoming events.
UIL.jelt.org. We have amazingly cool events, sometimes featuring Gabi herself. Yay!
So we are sort of, the Tokyo GELT is related to the TYL GELT as well. So please check out both sites. Thank you. So I think
Yay.
we'll now have a quick break. And shall we say 10 minutes? 10 minutes. So we'll come back at about 11:20, give or take. So then we can hear about the really interesting projects run by Yoichi Kyoto. So please stay around, grab a cup of coffee, and then join us again at 11:20. Thank you.
Yoichi-san, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again. A
Very
long
nice
time
to
no
see you
see.
again. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to your talk.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I hope you will enjoy my session.
I'm sure I will.
And Yoichi, can I just confirm that it's okay to record your presentation?
Yes, of course. It's all right.
So is everyone back yet? It's hard to tell when we don't see the people on the screen, isn't it?
Okay, I show you my screen.
Okay, but let's make a start. Yeah, so please, Yoichi, start
Okay.
whenever you're ready.
Okay. And can you see my slide?
It's a little small.
Small. Okay. Maybe this is better.
If you go
Um,
on slideshow from that, maybe. Yes,
There we
that's
is it all right?
Yes.
Okay. Let me start. And
So-
hello everyone. And I'd like to talk about my session. I'd like to start my session. And the title is Imagination and Creativity in Language Learning. I mean the English foreign language education. It is rather the conceptual than Erin's. Erin's was very practical and a little bit different. Okay. And let me tell you my background. Actually, I had taught English at the high school more than 25 years in Tokyo, maybe, and moved to the Meisei University. And the goal is to to build a bridge between the practical area field to the theoretical, I mean the research area. And I'd like to talk about this kind of maybe a project. Okay. And today's topics. And first, I think we need to think of the global changes. And I mean the technology and the global environment and war and those kind of things. And the relationship with the learning of English communication. And next, I'd like to focus on the intercultural aspect of language learning. And then today I have two topics and about the picture book, which I made together with Kensuke Miyazaki. He's a mural painter, artist. At the end of my session, I'd like to talk about social meaningful project, which is atomic bomb exhibition. This one. Can you see this? Okay. And if you have some comment or the questions, and it's all right, no problem with me. And please write the question, the impression, the opinions on chat. Okay. Okay. I'd like to talk about the global change and the advanced, the Erin's presentation shows we can enjoy the many useful digital tools now. That means the advanced development of automatic translation system, such as DeepL and Google Translate and so on. These systems is forcing us to rethink our conventional learning method in English education, such as exhaustive memorization of English vocabulary and grammar. Okay, and not only the information technology, but the drastic changes in the world also forced us to face intense global issues such as environment. This one, this is not a real whale. This is an artistic one. Artistic, maybe a whale. You know, insisting of the danger of the environment in the sea, ocean contamination. And wars and conflict like Gaza and Ukraine. Under these circumstances, it is necessary for individual learners to develop an attitude to independently considering appropriate English language learning method. Autonomous learner, they should be, or we should be. In particular, in case of foreign language learning, communicative activities are an important element of learning, so the changes in the world surrounding learners, as described earlier, I mentioned now, are likely to affect their motivation and attitude toward their English learning. And there arises the question, is it appropriate to study English communication just on a preset situations such as shopping, sightseeing, and so on? I don't deny maybe the usefulness or practical purpose of this kind of communication, but totally depend on this kind of running is not appropriate now. I'd like to talk about it. Then we should consider another aspect of learning, that is imagination and creativity, and for the language learning. I mean today English education. And our research group, I'd like to talk about the cultural aspect of the foreign language, and you have already know maybe the answer. Just looking at these pictures. And our research group analyzed the English textbooks published in Japan, the 3 main books, the most sold, well-sold books in Japan. They have many topics about foreign countries, right? And however, topics are rather stereotype. Maybe the Italy, pizza, this kind of China, and long war, Banino Chojo. But we can eat delicious pizza in Tokyo too now. And considering global changes situation I mentioned, we need to think about attitude that encourage independent learning. And the learning a foreign language will be extraordinary activity that enables learners to open the door to unknown world. Don't you think so? And exploring unknown culture possesses emotional aspect. Now, exploring unknown culture could stimulate learners' curiosity. In other words, it is expected to enhance child motivation. And this kind of motivation can be the lasting driving force, not the short-term motivation, lasting. The iceberg, you can see this iceberg, illustration of iceberg in the slide. This iceberg analogy of culture is highly differenced as it illustrates how much of culture is invisible. For example, food and fashion and festival. These are called maybe famous general cultural symbols. 3 Fs: fashion, festival, food, fashion, festival. But this is just starting for the learners. I think a picture book has some advantages for stimulate this kind of learning motivation. If the resources of the picture books can effectively combine the linguistic information of the story with the visual information of the illustrations and gain the interest and attention of the children, it could lead to successful learning about language and culture. As for me, when I was a child, Pinocchio is my best book. Okay, how about you? Okay, this is maybe the left side is the front page of ICE Guide, a handbook for the intercultural citizenship education through picture book. ISPEL in short. This educational project has been developed by educational members of five European countries, which are German, Italy, Norway, Portugal, and Netherlands. It is planned as a pedagogical framework and ready-to-use manual for the implementation of intercultural citizenship education through picture book. Today, I'd like to show you the some. In early English language learners, it intends to disseminate grounded theory and practical ideas which have emerged from ISPO project. And you can download free this guidebook, and you can search the ICE guide or the ISPO or something like that. What? Shut? Okay. Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Ruth. Okay. Humpty Dumpty. I was surprised, but he said immediately. Yes. I did. Yes, Humpty Dumpty. Maybe it's kind of nursery rhymes. Maybe different kinds of culture background from Japan. Thank you. Yes. どこまで話したかな? Yes. And yes. And I'd like to tell you the comment of the Michael Byram. Have you ever heard his name, Michael Byram? He's a very famous researcher on the culture and foreign language. And he wrote the foreword, very interesting foreword. I'll let you know. He says, in England, how education was reduced to training, to requiring teachers to deliver the curriculum as if they were delivery van drivers. Very interesting. Sent out from the ministry to the consumers of curriculum. The course at the heart of this book, maybe this guidebook, place teachers in the learning situation, which is closely related to the learning they will facilitate for their pupils. This is the best approach, and it includes a crucial practice of reflecting and reviewing. It is very important, which makes them, their pupils, independent learners and not mere consumers of what is delivered to them. pizza delivery. We teachers are not the pizza delivery. And it is education, not training. And his comments suggest the same situation in Japan. However, we need to design our way of learning with a picture book in our English classrooms, because educational settings in Japan are different from European countries. Okay. And the left side book is my first picture book. My first picture book. Okay, this one. And this is only one left. And My Sweet Stories. It was created with the intention of fostering intercultural citizenship and used at more than 6, this book, I mean this picture book, was used at more than 6 classes of maybe 6 universities for the teacher training classes. The main character, the cat, you can see the left bottom of the left side. And main character is a sweet, loving cat who introduces his friend from different cultural backgrounds. The book gives learners opportunities to consider the commonality of each character's culture as well as the diversity. Not only the diversity, it also giving a chance to consider the commonality. The poster, the center, the poster was created by children in the Italian elementary school. And I visited this school and this March and to 2024, this year. And the person next to me is Emanuela, is one of the members of ISPO members. Yes. Okay. If you have questions, please ask me. And I can't, maybe on the, please write on chat. Okay. And the book, today's 2 main topic. This is the second picture book over the world. I ask you the one question: have you ever read this book? And just Gabi. Okay, thank you for your cooperation. And okay, chat. Not yet, but please do. Thank you. Yes, and I created the story based on the real volunteer project over the world. That the name of the project is Over the World, right? And Kensuke Miyazaki, he wrote these pictures. He created these pictures of this book, and his support team worked with the local people in different countries to create wonderful murals, actual murals, very big size. Their murals have encouraged the people living there. Through the book, Over the Wall, readers can see the Kensuke's murals wherever they may be. And actual murals, we have to visit the country, but for the book, as a book, we can open the book and we can see the murals. Okay. And specifically, the readers can visit, readers can visit the murals from the perspective of a swallow called Sami, the main character. This one. This is my partner, Sami. Can you see this? Yes, yes. And furthermore, the book has an important message. See the world on the wings of the mind. Wings of the mind. The wings of the mind refers to imagination. This is one of the very important message. Imagination. In the story, Sami teaches us that we can make the world brighter and more peaceful with our imagination. Okay. And let me introduce the beginning 5 pages of the book. Okay.
Over the wall.
Can you hear? Can you hear?
Hello.
Okay, okay.
I am a swallow. My name is Sammy. I fly around the world. I have a friend, Hiroshi. He lives here in Ishinomaki in Japan. I have another friend, Winnie. She's a whale in a mural in Ishinomaki. The Over the Wall team created the mural. They are a volunteer group. They give courage to the heart. Winnie has friends in many murals in different countries. I want to travel around the world and meet them. Winnie says to Sammy, I have a bird friend in Ecuador. So Sammy flies to Ecuador first. After a long journey, he gets hungry. He finds some beautiful flowers below. Oh, bugs in the flowers! Yummy! Sammy flies down to the flowers, but he's sad. Oh, these are not real flowers. Then the hummingbird in the mural talks to Sammy. She says, Hi, Sammy. I'm a hummingbird, and my name is Tiny. Welcome to Ecuador. Let me show you something. This is a prison. People in the prison broke laws. Some are very poor. They stole medicine for their sick children. Oh, that's so sad, says Sammy. The Over the Wall team created this mural with the prisoners. The colourful flowers in the mural are not real, but when you see this mural, they will bloom in your heart.
Okay, the phrase from the Tiny, the hummingbird, is a very important message. And these flowers on the murals are not real one, but when you see these flowers, they bloom in your heart. This is a very important one. It's kind of a creativity and imagination. Okay, and this is just the beginning of the 5 pages of the book.
Over the Wall.
No. Okay, now I'd like to today's attendance, the people now and on this session, to consider what kind of advantage of creativity of picture book is. I will show you three pictures from this book. 3 pictures, not the beginning, maybe maybe almost the end of part from the part of the ending part. 3 pictures from the book. Please make your original story, your own story, I mean. And Gabby has already read the book, but please create a different story one. Your own story, please create. And sorry for the short time. I give you 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Time is really limited. But it is okay. You write down the keywords for each page. Just a word. Okay. Not a long sentence story. Okay. This is the first one. Okay. Please write down. Are you ready? This is the first one. And this is the next one. And third one. Okay, I will show you the 3 pictures once again. Okay, this is the first picture. Okay, and you can see the various kinds of animals or peoples. They wear different costumes and birds. And this is the next terrible scene. No animals, just Sami. Okay. Okay, and this is the last one. Yes, this is a tiny, the hummingbird. Okay. One more minute left. Okay. Have you finished writing your story? Okay, this is the first and second, third. Okay, it's time for us to share your story. Sorry, the short time, the limited time for your creation. Okay, any volunteers? Any volunteers? Welcome. I'd like to expect. I'd expect your original story. Let's share. How about Ruth? It's maybe you have a used picture book for your classes for your pupils.
So, once
This
upon
is
a
the first
time,
one. First one.
once upon a time, there was a very colorful world. From the ground to the sky, there were colors everywhere, and people everywhere. Many things.
Yes. Okay, the next one.
Something terrible happened. All the color drained from the world. There was only gray and smoke.
Yes,
People,
dark
the
colors.
animals disappeared. The only colors left were the ground, the green of the grass.
Yes, thank you. And the last one.
This is my favorite. A small hummingbird brought a tiny basket. In the basket was hope. So hope, the basket was tiny, but hope is very powerful. So it spread from the basket.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for your maybe original story. Wonderful story. And another, any volunteer? Maybe Ruth is wonderful story, but do you have a different story? No?
I can volunteer.
Okay. Hi. Yes, please go ahead. Maybe I'll go back the
please.
front page. Oh, no. Oh,
I thought the first slide
okay,
was,
this one. Your first, okay.
it was like a town, and in the town everybody lived in a mitten.
Yes. In the mitten.
Yeah, and everyone was really happy and comfortable. And then the next slide, there was some war that broke out, and there was a lot of fighting, and a lot of people died, and yeah, a lot of buildings. So that was just a memory of what had happened, the war. That was the building for people to remember. And then the last slide, like, yeah, just like Ruth said, it was like hope. That's what I thought too. Like hummingbird. Like I guess in like in the US, like we would have like a dove, like a white dove. Maybe because the culture is different. Maybe a hummingbird represents the same. I wasn't really sure, but that's okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, this is maybe almost the same as Miyazaki Kensuke created at the Ukraine, and this mural was based on the story, the old story of the mitten, and a traveler, in the winter time, traveler fell. One of his mitten glove, and it was very cold, and because of the coldness, the various kinds of animals get into this mitten. For example, the fox and rabbit and squirrel and one by one, and at the end, maybe a big bears go into this mitten. The mural is based on the story, old story. And the last one is based on the Kurikindri, the hummingbird story. It is also the folktale of the South America, I think. And there was a terrible fire in the forest. And one of the small bird, hummingbird, tried to extinguish the small amount of the water. But the other animals laughed at the bird's effort. It's useless. But the hummingbird tried to extinguish by even the small, carrying the small amount of the water. Maybe this is just 3, and you can use these textbooks in these various kinds of ways. And this is the developmental worksheet. And actually, we used this worksheet for this textbook. I mean, this one. So this also has some kind of episode. And they have a discussion. I mean, the pupils have a discussion of War and Peace in your class. And okay. And actually, we had a publication event, Tokyo Shoseki, of the picture book. And then we had various guests from the places where the murals were created. Ishinomaki, Ecuador, and East Timor, Timor-Leste, Ukraine, some countries, and ambassador joined. And Gabby also one of the participants of the event. And we conducted the interesting activities such as making tree of peace. This is the one photograph of the making tree of peace. Every participant create flower of peace, their own original flower of peace, and put them on the trees. And maybe we can we can develop various kinds of activity through the one picture book. Okay. And I'd like to talk about the theoretical concept of this creativity. Okay, and Nobuko Uchida, have you ever heard her name? Nobuko Uchida is a developmental psychologist in Japan. She suggested that we understand how the world operates on the basis of abstracted mental model. Using this mental model, we can run simulations in our mind, solve new problems, flexibility, modify procedure, draft new procedures, and explain them to others, classmates, teachers. With the fiction and the story, or otherwise story, we can freely set up the situation and place the characters and move the characters around as we like. We exactly create a mental model and a kind of simulations of how the person would move and make characters would move in that situation. When we move a character around the story world, we see problems and contradictions that we have to interpret and deduce in reality. I have mentioned a drastic change at the beginning of my session. I have mentioned drastic changes in the world and necessity to consider that aspect in English class education classrooms. I believe positive mental models will encourage children's motivation to know the world and activate their English communication. I believe I think so. The good picture book have possibly to activate children's imagination and their mental models. The picture book, the Over the Wall, I expect is definitely one of the good book and to activate their the learner's motivation and imagination. Please read the one. Okay. Okay, now let's move on to another topic for today. This topic relates high school students, the higher age learners. Focus on learners who understand the relationship of their learning and society. High school students are becoming social agents of their community, right? And Erin teaching the high school students at high school, and she knows that their developmental mental development, and they can understand their social meaning of their learning. Okay, and this is a poster of atomic bomb drawing. Have you ever heard this project? I know, yes, Kevin knows very well. Okay, and I'd like to tell you the general background of this project. Recently, it was announced, big news, the Nihon Hidankyo, a Japanese organization of atomic bomb survivors, has won the Nobel Peace Prize, right? And I believe people in the world are feeling the danger of atomic bomb, nuclear bomb, more than ever is one of the reasons of the winning, the Hidankyo's winning prize. And this topic, atomic bomb painting project, is also meaningful peace activity, I believe. high school student from Motomachi High School. It's a public one. Motomachi High School in Hiroshima City worked collaboratively with Hibakusha, atomic bomb survivors, to create picture of the atomic bomb. It is voluntary activity. Not all of the students of the Motomachi, but it's a voluntary work. And it is a voluntary activity proposed by the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum. Have you ever visited Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum? Yes, yes, of course. And so far, the student created about 200 paintings so far, 200. And maybe the schools and educational maybe places you want to use these paintings, they can ask the Peace Memorial Museum, and they will send you, we can lend these kind of paintings. And for 2 years, I mean, my research, I'd like to talk about my research. For 2 years, I have studied one high school student who was engaged in the project, made a research from perspective of whether the project can be the socially meaningful. It is very important. Terminology, socially meaningful one for the student and examined as pedagogical significance in English language learning. The research topic is to examine the project encourages the student's autonomous attitude to explore the relationship to society and promote the learning of English communication. In other words, if learners could recognize that their learning activities are meaningful to society, that will encourage their willingness of English communication. This is my concept of the research. Okay, and this is the timetable. The student I'm following has started their first atomic bomb painting October 2022, and she was a first graders. The exhibition of the atomic bomb is held several times a year, not only one. And the painters, high school students, have gallery talk. Not only the showing, but they have the gallery talks in Japanese, usually Japanese, about their paintings at every exhibition. For example, what kind of efforts they made in depicting terrible images, but they have never experienced that imagination, through imagination. The most important gallery talk on August 6th, every year, August 6th, the day the atomic bomb destroyed Hiroshima City. The yellow highlighted event, exhibition. One of the exhibition, the first one, it is gallery talk for the student. The student I'm following, was asked a question by the overseas participant, one of the participants, and the person attended the exhibition. He is an Asian American. He insisted the efficiency of atomic bomb in a way it helped the nuclear weapon hasten the end of the war, the World War II. And the student, high school student, wanted to answer the nuclear weapon will hasten the end of the whole world, not the limited area. Now, hasten the end of the whole world. However, she couldn't explain her opinion successfully that time. Then she seriously recognized the importance of the gallery talk in English, not only Japanese. And the student, I discussed this and concluded the trial gallery talk, trial but not the actual gallery talk, in English would be appropriate. It's kind of a training for her. She conducted a gallery talk in which I said in March 2024, the pink highlighted one. Okay. And trial gallery talk held in March 2024, this year, the March. It is about 1 hour. It took 1 hour, including the question and answer. I asked the 3 English education researchers, 3 English education researchers to participate the gallery talk and evaluate significance of the atomic bomb painting project and its gallery talk from the perspective of social meaningful as a global citizens. And Gabi is one of the evaluator participants. Yes, thank you for your cooperation, Gabi. And this perspective is very important because there exists a question, is a classroom a society? Erin, sorry to interrupt you. Is a high school, and for your school, is classroom is actual society, can be a real society? Yes or
I
no?
think so. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yes. Okay, thank you.
It depends on
Maybe-
what level, but I think so.
Yes, that's a very limited society, right? Yes, actually, it's a society. But do you know the Japanese word seken? Sekai, not sekai, seken. Second, I think classrooms are maybe, generally speaking, classrooms are something like a second, not the society, real society. Maybe in other words, as Erin said, limited, narrow society. So the second is appropriate, right word. Their territory, second, viewed from the perspective of what kind of connection one has with ourselves, teachers and the students concern their teachers, classrooms, evaluation from view of how they evaluate classmates and teachers, evaluate them. It is a narrow territory. Second. Please remember the Japanese word second. 世間の風とかね。世間、渡る世間。Maybe we use that kind of collocation. And this means that if teachers want their students to do the socially meaningful activities, they should be related, and activities should be related to real society, not narrow, the real world. Outside their classroom, without shock, right? Outside the classroom. For the evaluation atomic bomb project, socially meaningfulness, I chose, and this is the butterfly chart, reference framework of competencies for democratic culture items. These items. The framework was developed by the Council of Europe in 2013. And they explained it is a set of materials can be used by education system to equip young people with all of the competencies that are needed to take action take action to defend and promote human rights, democracy, the rules of law, to act as active citizens. Active citizens, that is very important. To participate effectively in the culture of democracy and to live peacefully together with others in culturally diverse society. Live peacefully together with others in culturally diverse society. In Japan, actually, in Japan, we have a special subject, Dotoku. Have you ever heard Dotoku? But Dotoku is a moralistic attitude, personal attitude. And moral, maybe personal conscience. Moral is personal conscience. And it doesn't show the competence of the citizenship, right? So we cannot use the Dotoku items here. Okay, and actually the survey, the result of the survey, the 3 persons, and activities, the atomic bomb project activities were rated 3 levels. 1, the highest point, point 3, explicitly observed. 2.2, not explicitly, but had this ability, possesses this ability, competence. 2, and 1, not observed, the lowest, the 3-point level. With the exception of the one item, value democracy, justice, fairness, equality, and value the law. This is lower than 2, but 19 items out of 20, 19 items out of 20 were found to be more than 2. 2 means 0.2, not explicitly observed, but possessing this ability by 3 evaluators. 2 are Japanese English researchers, English education researchers. 1 is Gapi. Okay, and later, please, if you have some additional information, please tell us later. Of these 3, of these 19, more than 22 points, and 7 items were 0.3 explicitly observed. Okay. Okay, and now this project has 3 important communicative activities, communicative elements. And the left side, the communication with the elderly hibakusha, and they are more than 80, sometimes 90. And the high school students are high teen, 16 to 17, and so on. And involves a very large age gap. So sometimes they mean the high school students has had to make efforts in their communication and vocabulary and something to get the real image and experience, to understand the hibakusha's experience. And the second one, in the center one, introspective dialogue about unexperienced horrors of the atomic bomb for creating paintings. It's kind of imagination. How to depict the terrible horror they have never experienced. And the right side one, gallery talk in English, aimed at both Japanese and English, and introducing the process of atomic bomb painting creating. They talked about the background and so on. I have already talked about the evaluation of the aspect of the right side one, social meaningness of gallery talk, the right side one. And I show you one of the pictures. Okay. And this picture is the title. Title is Black Rain. Black Rain. Do you have heard the Black Rain after the atomic bomb? Have you ever heard? Yes. The Hibakusha, maybe people in Hiroshima who had experienced the atomic bomb had this rain, and which was contaminated by the radioactivity. And the left side picture is unfinished one. That student is thinking how to create, how to depict. And this is a final version. Hibakusha, who experienced the situation, explained that Hibakusha, who experienced the situation, was one of these children, Hibakusha. He's an older person now, but when he experienced the atomic bomb, he was a child. At this time, children were unaware, wasn't aware of serious health hazard of the black rain's radiation. The high school student who painted this picture was searching for how to depict this situation and did not have a clear image of the situation. It's a very complicated situation. On the right side picture, she depicted children, right side, completed one, rejoicing. Children were rejoicing in the rain in a hot climate. It's a summertime, mid-summertime. At that time, when this rain was falling, children couldn't understand the terrible effects of radiation, which can undermine health in the long term. She had difficulty in expressing this situation. After completing the picture, she remarked that the hardship was deepened her understanding, not only the explicit damage of the atomic bomb, but also the reality of the long-term complex damage caused the weapons of the atomic bomb. Maybe through the period interesting in maybe a inner dialogue, in other words, and she maybe getting these kind of images, created these images. Okay, this is the last time is okay. Okay, this is the last video, and this is this year's August 6th, the exhibition. Okay, and the girl, you can see the 3 high school students. The center, the one in the center is the high school student I'm following now, and she will explain. She would conduct a gallery talk in English, and then. And there you can see the attendance, maybe participants. Some of them are the overseas people, and you can see the attitude. Okay.
絵画展にお越しいただきありがとうございます。原爆の project we do in this wish for the future. I'm very glad to see. では説明に移ります。今日はたくさんの海外の方にもお越しいただいているので、少し英語の方で喋らせていただこうと思います。Thank you for coming to see Atomic Bomb Drawings exhibit. I'm very glad to see many overseas attendants here now because we can share the same peaceful wish for the future. Well, I would like to talk about what we do in this Atomic Bomb project in English. First, I like to talk about the basic activities of Atomic Bomb Drawings project. The Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum has been implementing the Atomic Bomb Drawings project since 2004. The main objectives of this project are to convey reality of the damage and suffering caused by atomic bomb and to pass down these terrible experiences to the future generations. First of all, we high school students listen to the evacuees' experiences and then.
Okay, and her speech will have 1 or 2 minutes, and actually, and the student and she made speech and gallery talk in English, and both Japanese and English, and she noticed some overseas visitors are paid attention to her speech. They turn around to her. Because she used English, they can understand what she want to say, want to explain. She recognized English communication is one of the meaningful aspects for her activity. Okay. And in the second, yes, it's my conclusion of my session. I talked the creative activity on the atomic bomb painting and gallery talk in English. Such creative activities are not common as learning activities in high schools. Maybe it's the artistic activities, not these paintings, creating paintings are not common, general ones. But however, it confirmed that educational activities, making pictures of atomic bomb, encourages independent and inquiring learning as socially meaning communication. That is the point. Socially meaning significant communication. And this inquiry element, in conjunction with the English communication, foster an independent attitude to engage with the people and society. This project possesses very important skills, which are communication, critical and creative thinking, cooperative problem solving, informed decision making, and the ability to see issues from multiple perspectives necessary to solve world problem. These are the almost similar skills through the global citizenship education. Kip Gates, you know the Kip Gates. He is one of the members of the JALT. These elements, and he suggested these elements, for necessary skills for their English education. These elements of socially meaningful communication demonstrated in this study may have the potential to support learners' autonomy and design for us to design our general school English lessons. I'd like to know your comments. Okay, and this is the reference, and the ICE guide, and you can download freely. Thank you for your listening. That's all from me. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for such an inspiring talk. I'm
Thank you.
sure many people, I'm very familiar with Yoichi's project, so I will say in the background that please, if you have any questions or comments, please ask directly. Probably rather than putting it in the chat. It's maybe easier to just discuss it. That's it.
And today I talked about the picture book and also the atomic bomb project, and both okay. Please ask. And any, not a question, but also the comment and impressions are okay. Please let me know.
I'd like to ask a question.
Okay. Okay, Erin.
So, like, I have a special class at my school that I teach, and it's not within the regular English curriculum, so I can do all kinds of stuff like that. When you're working with high school students, which classes do they do these projects inside of, especially like kids who are in public school? Because it's really hard to push something into their curriculum that doesn't align with everything they're doing to study for the entrance exam. Like, I'm a public school too, and you mentioned you work with public schools. How do these schools, which class are they doing these activities in?
You mean the maybe I mean you mean the
Oh, your art one at the end.
atomic bomb concept of atomic bomb, and okay. I'm a head of editor of English textbooks. Can you see this? Can you see this?
A little bit.
Sorry, it's all about series. All about series. All about series. And maybe Erin, you have your students have also the textbooks, right?
Yeah, we use I think Crown and Element and Heartwarming.
Yes. And actually, there in the textbooks for the English classes, it has various kinds of topics. And for example, my textbook has peace education, peace topic, and Hiroshima, and sorry, and the topic is one of the girl had to be a driver, a street car driver at the end of the World War II at Hiroshima.
And the textbook is English.
Yes.
So this would be
English. Yes, of course.
English curriculum.
English curriculum.
Class.
Yes, English class. And maybe a Crown or any other textbook has a topic for the peace education, and you can develop these topic to the topic you are interested, or the students may have the interest. It's a mini project running, and you can develop the topic of the textbook into the the mini project, maybe which encourage them to think of their the war and the peace, and you can use the worksheet I showed you, the war and peace. Maybe, yes, One Piece, yes. And you can design your short projective learning from the textbook.
Do you have any resources that show your project design? Because I have a lot of teachers who want to do stuff like that. However, they can't think of the way and the design. So I think if you had like kind of a
template,
resource, template for them to do this, because it's like the new mixed curriculum is all about project-based learning and inquiry-based learning and getting this into the regular classes. And my class is not a regular class. I teach like a special.
Yes.
My kids have my class twice a week. for learning listening communication, but they're supposed to be like you're talking about. I love this, these active elements for the kids to do in their regular class, but
yes, I know some background because I used to be the high school student. The curriculum, maybe not only the English but the other curriculum, subject curriculum is very rigid, not flexible. 本当にバカバカしいんだけど。Very rigid, but and these days and cross-curricular learning is encouraged now, and you can get some, the members who are who have the positive opinion over the cross-curricular curriculum, just like a teacher, sociology, the history, or maybe the Japanese language teacher, or the artist art, the teacher for art. And gradually, and you can enlarge the number, increase the number of those people who like this kind of topic.
Yeah, I just have to have you come do a workshop, basically.
And actually, but actually, the next year, Miyazaki Kensuke and I will visit Kyoto. And do you know the International Peace Museum? It is some kind of relationship with Ritsumeikan.
Yeah. I live near there.
Yes, then we have a workshop using the over the wall picture book. Then,
perfect.
Yes, then maybe you can encourage your student attend the workshop. Maybe it's out of the classroom. But actually, it's better. Maybe later I'll let you know the schedule.
Please.
Yes.
All right, I'll let other people ask questions.
Okay. Sorry to other people. Maybe Gabby.
Can I just ask?
Okay.
Can I just ask a question? Like with the atomic bomb project, is it restricted to students at Motomachi High School in Hiroshima only, or is the project extended to Hiroshima Prefecture or even further afield? Do you know how restricted this project?
And actually, this is, I think, and this project is limited to the Hiroshima Motomachi High School because the number of the hibakusha who want to convey their terrible experience to the next generation, not so many. And they have some kind of system. They mean Hiroshima Motomachi High School, not all of them, volunteer work, have some kind of system through the museum. This project was conducted by the Peace Memorial Museum. And I think, and individually, some high school student wrote that paint that kind of atomic bomb paintings, but not it's kind of those are the individual ones. Yeah.
So not through collaboration.
Yes, right, not collaboration.
Survivor, right.
So that means, and this project, has an exhibition on the August 6th, the day of the Hiroshima was destroyed by the atomic bomb. And next, the building they have, where they have exhibition is next to museum. 国際会議場, International Conference Room or something like that. Very big one.
Right. Because I was thinking because I realize that the access is probably limited, whether, for example, if someone in a situation like Erin is in, whether they could choose that part of the textbook that deals with peace education, and then just have the students, as you're saying, independently create a painting and then talk about the painting as a gallery talk in English. And I'm sure most prefectures do offer some kind of peace education or some kind of education problem somewhere. within the prefecture, whether you can link it in with that kind of event at some stage.
Yes, I totally agree with your opinions. Maybe if the other students, I mean, not the Hiroshima area, it will be a good chance for them to deepen their understanding of the nuclear weapons and maybe about the whole damage of the war. Maybe it would be a good peace education. Thank you.
I was thinking,
Okay, Ruth, okay.
and it's along the same lines of what Gabby was talking about. The project you talked about was really specific to Hiroshima. But the war affected everywhere in Japan. So, for example, I live in the country near the mountains of Hakone, and that's where everyone fled from Tokyo. They fled to the mountains because it was safe. And so students in my area have their grandparents. Some of them still have their great grandparents. So my parents-in-law, both as children, were sent to the mountains to a camp with maybe one older 17 or 18-year-old student to watch over them. So experiences like that, every local place can tap into the older people in their society.
Yes.
I loved what was specific about the Hiroshima project was that students first had to deal with the hurdle of understanding an older person in their own language. So their first hurdle was in Japanese, actually.
Yes.
Understanding maybe expressions. Their second hurdle was using their imagination to envision something they had no idea how to depict, no matter what kind of good artists they were. And then the final hurdle would be actually facing non-Japanese people in the gallery talk. And the frustration of not being able to say what they want to say in English.
Yes, and the point is, yes, I thank you for your comment. And the point is, and the student, if the student can understand the meaning of the English communication and connecting to their daily activities, it's a peace activities for them. It will encourage them to learn, maybe effort to improve their English communication. And I think the high school student, age of the high school student, have maybe they have ability to understand the society, not the class only inside the classroom, but outside the classroom. And if they have chance to think of the outside the classroom, especially the war and environmental problem and so on, global level, as a global citizenship, it will encourage their motivation to English communication. Maybe so what I want to say is starting the topic, it should be the experiential learning for them to understand what kind of learning they should design for themselves. And the girl, the high school student, know the meaning of English communication through their English gallery talk in English. Maybe it's not general one, because other general high school don't have that kind of artistic running. Maybe it's a selective one, but if they have that kind of opportunity to think of the maybe outside the classroom, a society. It will encourage the attitude. Maybe it's complicated. So sorry, I had to understand. But this project has elements to become the independent learners of the English communication.
And also making a global, if it's global, like the local type.
Yes.
About it, but seeing what taking action within a local community or local area.
Yes, taking action is keyword. That's right. And the global case mentioned, global taking action is very important. Take any running is okay, but goal of taking is taking action through the running.
And certainly the project you described, you could see the student, she's taking action.
Yes, that's right.
Taking action. Okay. I started speaking, but I didn't quite understand. So I'm going to improve my English skills. Okay, she's taken action to get that message out there. Is I think the key, isn't it? She wanted to get that message out.
Yes, that's right. Thank you.
And in your presentation began with the picture books. And I think that another part of the key is getting students as early as possible and introducing them to topics that are out of their realm of imagination. Through a picture book. Otherwise, an experience like talking to the bomb survivors, that's very raw and very real. Kids are not used to thinking about.
That's right.
It's just a ceremony they see on TV for most kids. But there's so many amazing picture books that present those difficult topics in a way that speaks directly to children.
That's right.
So if that start is there, I can imagine.
And this is the third picture. Can you see this? This is third one. And Gabby, you have to already know. And yes, this, if you are interested in this picture book, I will send you. Maybe for you to
the Dream Museum.
Maybe title Dream Museum of Toys. And this is for children, but also it can be used for junior high and high school student. Erin, if you are interested in this book, I will send you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Please let me know the address later.
Imelda says that picture books require careful consideration of historical accuracy, sensitivity, and age-appropriate material. I mean, age-appropriate depends on the teacher choosing to use that for them.
That's right. That's right.
But I think it also, if it's a picture book, I don't think it needs to be historically accurate. Part of, if it's an imaginative picture book.
That's right.
Any situation, right?
Picture books are the purpose of using picture books for the English class is different from textbook. Textbooks contain the accuracy. I mean the fact and the historical background and so on. And the advantage of picture book is activate their runners' imagination. Yes, I think so too. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions for Yoichi?
Hi.
Okay.
I'm not good at speak English, but I would like to try. So I'm going to speak. I work as primary school teacher in Japan, Kanagawa Prefecture. In English class, I sometimes use picture book and say color, practice of color.
Oh, yes, it's color.
Yes, but today I listen use imagination
Mhm.
for picture book. Oh, I would like to use this idea. So next time I will ask the student, oh, how can you imagine the next
Mhm.
like that? So, and atomic bomb, about
Mm.
Hiroshima Genbaku atomic bomb. Have you ever used Battle of Okinawa, something like that, Kyozai? I
Yes.
I would like to know that.
Yes. I wrote the one lesson for the textbook. Wait a minute. And for the textbook. And it's very interesting episode in Okinawa at the end of the World War II. And Okinawa, generally they eat pork and pigs. And because of the World War II, I mean, the majority of the pigs died. And the people in Hawaii, they call themselves Uchinanchu. They are from Okinawa, basically, and I'm Japanese American from Okinawa. They sent a lot of pigs to Okinawa at the end of World War II. I wrote this episode, and this for the textbook. And this episode is very popular. Popular means the high school students like Okinawa, because of that, maybe sightseeing spot. But they had serious historical background, maybe about thinking of the world, maybe disaster of the World War II. And actually, I used this episode, and I wrote that episode for the textbook. And maybe time is limited today, and maybe I will let you know those kind of examples, and also the picture books I'll send you.
Thank
Please
you so
let me know the address
much. Thank you
later.
so much.
Thank you very much. So I think we are sort of running out of time, as Yoichi said. So first of all, I would like to thank our two presenters, Erin and Yoichi, for such great presentations.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have recorded the event and it will be made available on the Tokyo JELT website. So if you know people that you would like to share these presentations with, please send them to the Tokyo JELT website, because I think it's really important that people know about the Google tricks as well as his education and what can be done in classes just outside the textbooks as well, and in the eikaiwa or other areas like Ruth is in, for example. So
Well,
other areas, other
without
contexts.
Erin's talk, I mean, Erin shows us how to make all the practical things in our teaching life run smoothly so that we're able to do something imaginative as well. I think the two talks fit together really well. I'm going to watch Erin's again. I got a lot of ideas. Going to try.
So thank you very much, everybody, for attending and presenting. And I will share any information from the presenters. Is there a way to share that, Heather, on Tokyo JELT somehow? Can we?
Yeah, like I can put it on the website. That's not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on the website, like you said. And we also can put it on the YouTube channel. And yeah. What do you envision? Like, how would you like to
I was just thinking if, for example, Yoichi or Erin had something they would like to share with the people that attended or were going to attend, whether we could give them a link or something
Right. So I have the email addresses for everyone. So if you would like to chat, here, I'll give you my email address. And if you have anything to share, I can share.
That would be easiest, maybe. Thank you.
Yeah. 1 second. I'm typing now. There we go. That's my Gmail. So if you send anything, I'll send it on to the group. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Well, it must be lunchtime because my stomach is grumbling. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Take
See
care, everybody.
you. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, guys. I should have told you. I should have asked, what time do you want me to open the Zoom room?
Well, we
yeah.
should have asked, or we should have
We should have confirmed. So
been on
I'm
the
sorry
ball
about
there too. Yeah.
I was talking with some of my friends from university, like way back when, and I was like, oh, I'll open it up in 10 minutes. And I wasn't thinking like, you guys like to open early. I forgot.
We do.
Yeah, you guys do. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm so sorry again, but everything went smoothly. Oh, should we
It was
stop the
fine in
recording?
the end, yeah.
Stop the recording, yes.
Yeah.
So we'll cut